after the Cambrian explosion, there was another big spike in evolution and diversification, which we call the Great Ordovician Biodiversification Event, or Gobe. Right? Overall, there was a tripling of global diversity in animal species. Now, the Great Ordovician Biodiversification Event, we think occurred because of plate tectonics. Right? During the late Cambrian, there were some mass extinctions, which led to openings of new environments, new niches, new roles for new organisms to evolve into. At this same time, plate tectonics were causing continents to fragment apart, and seafloors were beginning to, new seafloors were beginning to spread. This created a lot of brand new shallow tropical seas. And because of all of that volcanic activity associated with seafloor spreading, there were a lot of volcanic nutrients being spewed out into those shallow seas. So the presence of these warm, nutrient-rich seas fostered the growth of plankton, which is the base of the food web, allowing all the trophic levels above those plankton to also get the food they need and proliferate and evolve and thrive, right? So the animals that were able to thrive during this time included trilobites, brachiopods, bivalve mollusks, gastropods, coralline animals, right, corals. And during this time, we get both epifaunal creatures, meaning they lived on the surface of the seafloor, but also infaunal creatures, the ones that burrow down into the seafloor, right? Right, you might think, well, how do we know this, right? How do we know which animals lived on the surface, which animals lived beneath the seafloor? Well, as always, there's evidence in the fossil record, right? So epifaunal creatures would leave tracks on the seafloor as they moved around, like this epifaunal trilobite track, whereas the ones that dug down into the soil and lived down in the seafloor in that sediment, they left little tunnels in the sediment, and we can actually see that in the fossil record. And we call that bioturbation. Bioturbation is when organisms dig down into the soil, mix up the soil. So rather than these very pristine layers of sediment and rock preserved, instead it looks like something's gone in there and just mixed it up, right? We call that bioturbation. And we see bioturbation during the Cambrian, showing us that there were infaunal creatures at this time.